Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to VidaneTV. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. here at Lanier Speedway with RBR Season 8. And alongside me, as always, here on a Tuesday night, Ashton Reiki. Ashton, how we feeling tonight, brother?
We're feeling good. I mean, we got to run through the race last night, and this is our second or third with the RBR series this season. So feeling good. It's starting to get to know these guys. We got a lot of good contenders in the race tonight, and this track is always fast. And I'm not going to be that broken record, and I'm not going to let you get to it first. But you're going to see 2 lanes tonight at this racetrack also, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Are you kidding me? We're going to see 4 or 5 lanes, I think, with this group. There's going to be racing all the way around this racetrack here, and we can take a quick look here at practice times as these guys get wrapped up. This is before qualifying. You see Ashton Tucker up there with a 13.192. This is going to be a quick race here tonight. Getting around here 100 and some odd laps or so at 13 seconds a lap. It might be a pretty short night.
Yeah, I mean, this group is usually pretty tame. I'm going to knock on wood, and hopefully that doesn't change on a night like tonight. Ryzer Fabrication 150 at Lanier. It's a nice wide track. You get up to that wall really quickly out of the corners. That's generally where you see a little bit of the calamity. Entry of the corner. You can really get the entry if you arc it properly. You can really roll that center. That's generally where you see guys making the moves, making the passes. So it's certainly going to be a fast pace race, and I mean, pit strategies is always something we like to talk about. I don't know how many tires they have tonight on pit road. We'll have to find that out, but fuel and tires is always a talk when it comes to racetracks.
Absolutely, and just taking a look at the points here coming into the Ryzer Fabrications 150 here tonight, 150 laps on the docket. Dan Woolridge started from the pole in both of the first 2 races. He won the last one at Slinger, and he's going to come in with a 10-point lead over Ryan Messer. Craig Tully in third there in points, another 10 points back. So tight points battle getting into it, race number 3, and, well, they're going to line up on the grid like this.
Starting on the pole in the number 1 car, so I mean that's only fitting, is Ryan Messer. And on his outside, again, guys, we just talked about Canton Woolridge in the 28. Right behind them in the 2 car of is Ashton Tucker, and to his outside is the 50 car of the boss man Craig Tully. Behind them in the 38 in the 5th starting position is Travis Roma. 6th on his outside is the 141 of the rational Richard Drake.
Take a look at the next 6-pack here. They're going to be led by the 7th place driver, Chris Roma. Danny Vitch in the 29. Major Mellon Mountain Dew car going to roll off P8. How about Riley Duncan in the 97? P9, Devin Laffin going to round out the top 8. There's Scott Negus and John Baran in the top 12. Actually, I think it's John Byron. We went over that like 4 seasons ago.
Yeah, we did. It's John Byron.
It's John Byron.
Yep. Right behind them in the 13th and 14th position, you have Todd Cousins, Keith McClellan. In the 15th and 16th position, Noel Fougier, Conrad Murphy, Taylor Layton, Dylan Black in the 17th and 18th position. Behind them in the 19th and 20th is the 19 car of Derek Gates. In the 20th position is J.J. McRae in the 78. 21st is Travis Turple in the 10 car. 22nd, Mike Rhino in the 34. And rounding out the field in the 13 car is Dave Cassidy.
These guys getting ready to put on a show here for 150 laps at Lanier Speedway. Thank you so much for tuning in here on a Tuesday night to VidaneTV as we take the green flag. Messer down on the top side, bottom side rather. Tully already up on the top side.
Yeah, great start from both of those cars. They're able to get single file, but 2x2 behind them. Ashton Tucker on the bottom, rational Richard Drake making that outside work for at least 1 or 2 corners. He's going to do the smart thing and tuck his way back in there behind Ashton Tucker. And it's a long race, so there's a lot of laps to just kind of ride around and figure your stuff out. Save as much equipment as you possibly can. That Major Millen car looking up to the front already, up into the... looking for the top 5 is Danny Vitch, which we haven't seen him up here just this year as Ryan Messer goes quick time.
We're going to hear that a lot here. 150 laps on the docket. Already got a handful of them in our pockets as the yellow flag going going to come out for the very first time. The 2-car getting a piece of the action. There's the 36 of Noel Fougier as well. So we'll back that up and see if we can't take a peek at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay and find out exactly what it was that brought that caution out. We'll take a peek at the, we'll look at the blimp.
Yeah, it looks like everything's all smooth through that corner there. It could be just up ahead of this. We did see the 27. Yeah, the 2-car going around right in front of the field. They're collecting a couple of the other cars. Scott Negus in the 55. You saw the 36 of Noel Fougier. So I think a little bit of checking up. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So just an accordion effect. Everybody checked up. The 57, really nowhere to go. Scott Negus, same thing, nowhere to go into the back of the 57, gets them around, and then everybody just trying to scatter ends up collected in it. Thankfully, it's very early on in this race. Lots of time to get the repairs done to those race cars and get them back up to the front, hopefully late in this race.
Well, I'm getting pretty good with this new replay machine. Shout out to AC4 for turning me on to all the new buttons that we can use here with the ATVO platform. Still room for improvement, but I think we're doing okay with it.
Is that like a throwback style on the Tulco Electric number 2 car? That rear quarter panel looks really cool. It's almost like a throwback kind of font. Super cool looking car. I don't know if we've seen that one yet this year, so maybe a new paint scheme for that 2 car. Definitely
looks like it. You can see it's that shiny kind of matte black all the way around it. You can see a couple of salutes to you. Some neat, all the different the cameras that we've got here. You can see you heard them rev up a little bit. It's always cool to know that the drivers are listening to us there on the headset.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I love to see all the new paint schemes. And some guys like to change them up race to race and really like to confuse us. Some guys stick to the same ones. Dylan Black, I mean, Noel Fougier have had the same ones for a couple of seasons. So we get to know them. But always like seeing the new paint schemes as they're wrecking. What an angle. What a camera angle there to see that calamity on the restart. Thankfully, the 2-car able to roll. Todd Cousins roll through that and not get collected again. I'm not exactly sure what happened on that restart if somebody spun the tires, but we'll go to the U-House Racing Designs replay and get a look at that.
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, let's just ride on board with the 2-car and see what he sees on the restart. And, well, there it was. That's what he saw. A little bit of calamity there, so we'll back it up. We'll take a peek here from the blimp, and it's one of those cautions breed cautions deals. 19-car didn't quite get going. Mike Rhino tried to get him going just a little bit there, bud, but a little bit too hot to trot. A couple of drivers pointed in the wrong direction, and we're going to bend up a little bit more of the virtual sheet metal.
Yeah, I'm going to say that was a case of missing a shift. Not that I've done it. Yes, I have. Many, many times on a restart. One of those that you think you're all set and you're thinking, I just got to get this down into this gear, and we went the wrong way, and the guy behind you doesn't realize you went the wrong way and ends up in the back end of you.
Yeah, it brings back some of the memories of back in the my FTSR days when I ran with NASCAR Racing 2003 season. And I remember there was one race I had never had a win yet at that point. I was restarting on the outside, and well, I restarted in 4th gear, and I tell you, I didn't hear the end of it for about 9 years. Every single race at Daytona, Talladega, oh, make sure you guys check your gears. Dozer, check your gears. Yep, thanks, bud. Appreciate you.
Now, your walker doesn't have a shifter. You're showing your age with your NASCAR 2003 here.
Oof. Yeah. Man, I tell you, it's wild doing the real racing stuff right now. I mean, I feel like I work my butt off, but I had the epiphany that I'm working as hard as everybody else, but everybody else around me is like 10, 15 years younger. Like, I get back to the trailer, I'm lean, I'm huffing and puffing, and man, those yellow jacks are heavy. Everybody's like, what are you talking about, old man? Get out, get ready for dinner. Come on.
I think those are only like 1.5 pounds, aren't they?
Well, when you stack them like 3-4 wide. I mean, here we go. 2x2. Pace car's gone. We're going to take that green flag once again here. Buck 36 left on the board. Ryan Messer going to pull away just a little bit. The battle right now is for 2nd.
Yeah, the battle between Ashton Tucker and Bossman up on the top side, the Roma Brothers Racing number 50. He's going to slide his way in front of Ashton Tucker, and I think there's early enough to have some give and take, and a little bit of give there by Ashton Tucker, allowing him to get down there. Same thing with Reginald Richard. They're kind of trying to find their way single file. The top side is there, and it does work, but quite early to be trying to make any major moves right now, as we have a new quick time. Greg Tully, quick time on the board, 13.427. So these guys are going to be knocking off those times, especially once that rhythm gets in there. And that front group is always fast, always one to watch. And I mean, I'm really excited to see Danny Vitch in the Major Melons vehicle up there. And he's really working the bottom line and really moving forward. Not that I want to be shocked, because Danny is a very good driver. But we just don't often see him up front in the early goings. Usually he's one of those late drivers that comes out of nowhere and makes himself known, makes the presence known late in the race. So really nice to see him up there early. Hopefully he can save his gear, and we can talk to him on the podium later on.
We may not always see him up front, but man, we always see him. That is probably the loudest paint scheme I think we've seen here on VidaneTV in our 4 or 5 year stats here. The Major Melon Mountain Dew number 29, driven by Danny Vitch. How about a little 3 wide action in behind?
Great job. I'm just got a quick shout out to Byron there. So we announced it as it being John, but it is Brett Byron behind the wheel tonight of that 57 vehicle. He's a young driver, up and coming driver out of Sydney, Nova Scotia. He's running a mini stock this year. Had a hell of a season, rookie of the year. He's just a great kid. It looks like he's already got damage to that vehicle, so he's just trying to log laps. Yeah, he's fighting the wheel. He needs to go down pit road. He needs another yellow to try and help him out. But so some tough luck for Byron this evening. But great kid. Always have fun racing against him, whether it be in TCM leagues or whether it be here. He's always a fun kid to race with, and I know he's got a lot of sponsors that help him out. So hopefully, at one point, maybe we'll be able to talk to young Brett Byron.
And there you go, already making the veteran moves. Different car pulling down pit road, but you can see the leaders getting ready to catch up to the back bumper of that Byron machine. And that's one of the cool things about the sim racing deal. Steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron. If you want to get better, you have to get around, you have to be surrounded by people that are better. And the RBR Maritime group here, we're on season 8, season number 8. These guys definitely show on Tuesday nights why they're some of the best sim racers in the Maritimes. Really on the whole continent, as these guys putting on a heck of a show here. Ryan Messer holding on to the lead. Greg Tully, the big boss man, in the number 50 Toco Electric ride there in second. Ashton Tucker holding on to that third spot, and they are bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper as we've got 122 laps to go.
Yeah, other than those first early cautions there, we've really settled in, and we talked about that earlier. This group is really good at settling in, saving the equipment. It makes the racing late in the race very exciting. Still 120 laps to go as they come to the line, but there it is, the points leader. Having to start at the back, I believe that's one of the new rules that they've got in place here, that if you win the prior week or something along those lines, that you start at the back. It just makes things more exciting, just like we do in the real racing. And he's making his way to the front quite quickly, already up into 15th position. Mike Rhino up 12 positions. Conrad Murphy up 5 positions. Dylan Black up 5 positions. So a lot of guys deep in the field on the move early.
Yeah, and you can see more of the cool graphics that we've got now at VidaneTV, and everybody kind of getting into the rhythm at this point of the race. 150 laps, definitely a bit of a grind here for these drivers working lap number 34. You can see the 57 of Byron going down a lap. Messer still holding on to the lead. You can see Tully right there. He was able to gain a little bit there, but I don't think he's pushing the issue too much right now. I think right now you're seeing the boss man kind of do a little bit of homework. He's trying to find out where he's quicker, where he's slower, where he might be able to get up there and try and get a nose up underneath that one car. You can see still working a little bit of lap traffic there. Derek Yates in a 19 car going down a third lap, struggling with the handling on that 19 car. But you can see Tully just kind of taking it easy right now from that second position, if there was such a thing as taking it easy behind the wheel of a race car.
Yeah, I don't know if taking it easy is the right word, but being patient for sure. And you can just see how rough this track is. He's not sawing at the wheel because he's fighting the bumps. and the bumps just get that car that little bit loose down the straightaway. So you kind of have to just let it do its thing until you get into the corner and that front end plants itself in there. And I already see the brakes glowing on a lot of these race cars. A lot of brake entering the corners at this racetrack. So a game of saving equipment is always the case, and it's one of those situations, Paul, that when is the time to try new things? And Bossman's just kind of following the tracks of Messer. He knows there's lots of time, and he knows that Messer and Ashton Tucker, who's right behind him, are both very talented drivers. So he needs to pick and choose when he wants to play offense, when he wants to play defense. But right now, both those drivers up front are hoping that this race was ending right now. Tanton Woolridge back in 14th, they would make a huge point jump, but sadly, there's still 110 laps to go, and you and I both know that Tanton Woolridge will be up there in no time.
Oh, absolutely, and it's going to try and put on a show here as well, especially if we get some long green flag runs here. That I mean, we see some green flag runs, but we're getting close to 50 laps run here at this point. It's really one of those deals where it's kind of slowly and methodically kind of working his way there. You can see the 19 car still kind of struggling with the handling a little bit on that the Red Bull number 19, but there's Tanton Woolridge in that 56 car, still kind of working in clean-ish air right now. Has a little bit of break in the action before he gets up to the back bumper of the 08 of Dylan Black, Conrad Murphy, Mike Rhino, those guys all up in front of them there. There you can see a triple threat there, back for right around 10th place. Travis Roma, Devin Laffin, Mike Rhino, they're all bumper to bumper here. A little bit kind of spread out here. There's Danny Vitch in the 29. He's got Chris Roma in behind. There's Rational Richard Drake up in front of him in that Laker News 141 machine. And you can see everybody's really dealing with the same thing with those brake rotors. Ooh, Byron down on the bottom side. He's going to come down pit lane, it looks like, get some service on that machine. But everybody dealing with those hot brake rotors. And that may very well be something that we have to take a peek at later on in this.
Yeah, and although you can tell that they're all saving, the lap times are just about around what they were running early on in practice. So they're not far off the lap time. So I wouldn't say they're being overly cautious, but they're most definitely not pushing the envelope too hard right now. Coasting the centers, nobody's really loose coming off the corner, so you don't see any sliding just yet. But you mentioned earlier we're on a long green flag run, and it's about time that these tires are going to start getting angry, as we always say. And once they start getting hot, once they start getting angry, is usually when you see the cream of the crop race to the top. And you see the lap times up there right now. You know, the fast times around 13.436, 13.4s, but yet they're consistently running 14.0s, and that just goes to show that a lot of guys right now have dialed it in and are out for a Sunday drive on a Tuesday night.
How cool is that? I didn't even know we had that graphic.
Well, there you go. See that? We're learning every time we even go live.
Yeah, that's it. We looked it up so you don't have to. Pretty cool little software here. You can see a couple drivers coming down pit road. Derek Yates in a 19 car going to get some service done on that 19 Red Bull ride. Struggling just a little bit, couple laps down, but we've surpassed that third of the race. There you see Byron rejoining the field in that 57 car, and Tully's still right in the tire tracks of that number one machine of Ryan Messer. So just kind of studying the back bumper. You can see he's kind of trying to ease up the track just a little bit. Messer all the way down on the dotted, easy enough for me to say, on the dotted line. Goodness gracious. And just making laps, trying to get away from that third place car. Tucker sliding back just a bit. Okay, you can see a bit of a gap, about a half a second or so back from Tully in second to Tucker in third. Richard Drake a little bit even further on back, about 2 seconds back for the 141 car. Danny Vitch in the fifth position. In behind them is going to be Chris Roma, Riley Duncan. Still kind of spread out here throughout the field. We've stayed green for quite some time. Devin Laffin, Mike Rhino, Dylan Black, the top 10 currently as they run. We started with 23 drivers, 21 of them still out there, and 17 still on the lead lap. And that's something to behold with the lap times and the pace that one car is setting here with Ryan Messer.
Yeah, Messer's kind of out there. I mean, the 50 car's right on his tail. Tully's not letting him get away by any means. Ashton Tucker falling back a little bit. I wouldn't say concerns me in any way. Ashton Tucker, very experienced, very knowledgeable driver. He knows there's still lots of time to make up, and he knows there's lots of lap traffic. I can bet that he's probably thinking there's going to be at least one more caution, but tough to bet on those kind of things. It's tough to kind of hope that there's going to be a caution. So same thing, Rational Richard dropping back. We know Rational Richard is very good at saving equipment, always there at the end of the race. So Derek Gates pulling off pit road, a long pit stop there. So I think he's gotten most of his repairs that he can done. We saw him struggling with some handling issues early on. He was collected early on in one of the early accidents. So he's back out on track, a couple laps down, but of course, logging those laps means getting a few more points, and at the end of the season, those 1 or 2 points can really make a difference.
Absolutely. We've seen tight points battles in all of the leagues here, especially RBR, 8 seasons and throughout the past 4 or 5 years. We've been doing these iRacing shows here on the interwebs, and that's no different than anybody else. Fast One Motorsports very tight on Monday nights here with the RBR group. We made mention 10 points difference between first and second. Same goes for the Turn 4 Podcast Winner iRacing League, the NEP Super Truck Series on Thursday nights, 4 nights a week. We're going to be racing here on VidaneTV through the month of March. And we've got some cool stuff on the go for springtime next year in the iRacing world, as well as some real racing stuff and potentially some wrestling stuff coming up here in the next couple of months. But that's one of those deals you got to keep an eye on the social media outlets and the website for all the news and updates here at VidaneTV.
Yeah, it's you got a full schedule. That's the easiest way to pull it. I know we started off the season. Oh, 2-car hard up into the wall with the 38 debris all over the racetrack. Yellow is out. That's a tough break.
That's actually broken.
Yeah, I think they're going to need a little bit more than a jack and a hammer with some duct tape to fix that one.
Yeah, as Lenny Maticki would say, they're going to need that big hammer for this one. We'll take a peek at it here on the U-House Racing Designs instant replay, and there you can see tight quarters here. Great looking paint scheme on that 2-car. How about it? But you can see they come off the corner. Everything looked good there. Getting in on the bumper, drifting up just a little bit. There's the contact, sticking together like glue. That is a hard hit for the 38 Aroma. My goodness.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. Once they got hooked together, they were both kind of along for the ride. I believe 2 teammates of all things to happen. I believe both of those guys, close friends. Yeah, you could see that they were both along for the ride. They were on the brakes. They were trying to get away from each other. That's just a really, really tough luck, tough break for both those drivers. That brake rotor still glowing red on that 38, even after the impact with the wall. So 80 to go, Paul. They've taken the tire right off that thing.
Yeah, that car's seen better days. Look at the pit crew's even just sitting there staring at each other like, I don't know what we should do with it. He's not getting out.
If he takes the other quarter panel off and the hood off, he could go modified racing.
He could, yeah. We might have to start opening Tuesday night with a modified league or something.
Couple cars down pit road, and now is the time that the strategies start coming into play. The 27 slowly pulling off pit road here. He should be able to beat the field off. The 2-car's still out there. I don't think he took as much of an impact on that one as the 38 did, but I'm sure he's feeling it for his cousin, or for his teammate. I was about to say his cousin because I read Todd Cousins on there.
Yeah, it's crazy how the English language word brains and trying to do 16 things at once. It's only live TV. Here we go. Green flag already. The pace car says, you know what? We're just going to send it. And here we go, right back where we started. Messer up front, Tully there in second, and a little bit of a gaggle now for third on back.
Yeah, they bunched the whole field up, and they were able to find their strengths again as Rational Richard Drake right back down to the bottom, able to shut the door on the 83, who is slowly making his way to the front, along with Danny Veach and the 13 car on the outside. Is that the 13? The 8 car. I believe that's the 8 car. Sorry about that. Of Dylan Black, who always seems to be around the outside. We noticed it last week. He made the outside work quite a few times. So Dylan Black making his way around the outside, Devin Laffin. I always get those two confused. So Devin Laffin to the outside up into 6th position. And he's not diving down to the bottom, Paul. So that tells me that it might be go time for some of these drivers. 74 laps to go. If they can keep the wheels underneath it and keep the car rotating, they're going to make some quite a few positions up on that middle to high side.
Yeah, and there you can see the 89 of Conrad Murphy saw that outside line work just a little bit. He was up there until Danny Vitch in the 29 car said he was going to try and take a stab at it. 97 car, Riley Duncan going to enter the chat as well, all the way down on the dotted line in that easy clean number 97. And man, look at those brake rotors. We haven't really had many cautions for these guys to cool the tires, cool the brakes, or anything like that. So it's going to be interesting to see. We've seen equipment failures before here in the iRacing world. So I think that's definitely going to be something we got to keep an eye out.
Yeah, the quick cautions are great for the racing fans and for the guys in the seats, but for the guys in the driver's seats, not so great. They don't have much time to cool those tires down, cool the brake rotors down. So those quick cautions, although they're fantastic for the racing and for the entertainment, for the drivers, I think they wish they had an extra couple laps. As we go on board with Ashton Tucker, as the yellow comes out, great job. As you heard right there, right when he saw those yellow lights off the throttle and out of the fast lane to try and give people room to check up so he doesn't get it run over.
And we'll back up the tapes here on the U-House Racing Designs Instant Replay and exactly what went down as we were following that 2 car. And I had looked away for a second, so I'm not even sure what we're looking at. We'll take a peek at it here momentarily.
Yeah, the yellow comes out as they come down to the front stretch here. So I believe it's deeper in the field. Yeah, the yellow's right there, and you see Bossman dive to the bottom, the 2 car dive to the top, or jump to the top, trying to just keep the separation involved. But nobody really around fully that I can see from up here, but clearly there was either something on the track, debris of some sort, or maybe a car, just a single car around that was able to straighten it out quick enough. But nothing too crazy. I didn't hear the fence get knocked down, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, everything looks like it's okay. So that's definitely good news. We'll see. There's the 27 car off the pace a bit, but nothing too crazy. So looks like everybody's in good shape. Don't think we got anything on the camera, so that's definitely good news, as everybody's still going to rejoin the field here. There's still 14 drivers on the lead lap. It'll be 15 when JJ McRae gets the free pass.
Yeah, and 65 laps to go. Still lots of time to make your moves. This track is very fast, as we mentioned off the top of the show, Paul. It's one of those tracks that when they get into a rhythm, as we've seen, that rhythm can go for 40, 50 laps at a time. So this could be your opportunity to make your moves on this restart as the lights are off on the pace cars. They're coming down the backstretch. And is it go time, or is it still too early?
That's tough. I feel like if you're anybody other than the front 2, it's got to be go time, because once Messer and Tully get checked out, they are checked out. So I think Tucker and Drake really got to hammer down right now and see if they can get around those front 2.
We go back green. Great restart by Ryan Messer. Not so good for the boss man and Tully, as the 2 car of Ashton Tucker is able to get below him. And we've seen the 50 car usually have a great start and be able to tuck right in behind the 1 of Messer. Not this time, as Ashton Tucker, who was falling back a little bit earlier on that long run, may have staved those rear tires just a little bit more, got a little bit of extra grip on that restart. And they're going to do battle side by side coming to the line, 62 to go.
Yeah, we've seen some abrasive racetracks here this week. Lanier, no difference. This place eats tires for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we saw early on, we made a few comments about it. Single file kind of getting around here on a Sunday drive on a Tuesday night. But right now, it's rush hour on Friday, and it is time to go, as we've got 60 laps in this one. We are still side by side for second. Messer's loving every action of this. Oh no, Richard Drake little sideways, a little further on back in the pack, sideways still, and I believe we stay green. Caution.
Yeah, we'll have to go back there, Paul, to the U-House Racing Designs replay there. I'm not 100% sure what got him loose to start with. He was up on the top side. It looked like he was trying to tuck down to the bottom. Plenty of room there, so no contact on that one. 97 of Duncan below him. I think he just ran out of real estate, got the all clear. He wasn't all clear. 97 lets him collect it, but by then you've angered those rear tires. They were going 4 wide, and that's what caused him to get even more sideways. Thankfully, nothing major. We've seen that end a lot worse than that just was there. Danny Veach, all the way on the bottom there, really had nowhere else to go. He saw the door open the corner before, and he went for it. And that's one of those situations where it's go time for a lot of these guys, and they just ran out of room. As we'll go on board to see the handwork from our close friend in the car. It's there it is. There it is. See how quick that wheel snapped around. Great job by Richard to hold on to that car. And you saw he got back on the throttle, got her loose again, gets tagged again. If there was a talented hands award per race, I would say that Rational Richard Drake is getting it tonight.
That's it. That's the intro. You know. That amazing hands up driving by Rational Richard Drake. That's how it's done. That's how it's done right there. Some fantastic driving in that 141 Laker News ride.
So we are 55 to go in the Ryzer Fabrication 150. Past the halfway point. Still a lot of cars on the racetrack. A lot of fast cars coming through the field still. I'm starting to see a shade of blue in the top 5, in the top 10 at least. There he is, and that's our point leader. Tanton Woolridge has finally made his way up to the front. He's looking for a top 5 position right now on the outside of Duncan, working his way around. He gets the momentum down the backstretch. I would say by the time he gets to the line, he'll have it. That's 3 wide out of the corner. He thought best of it, and he backed out of that one. That got really tight really quickly there. Great job by the 50, 60, 83, and the 97 to keep it clean and keep it green.
Yeah, these guys putting on a whale of a show. And for these drivers up in the top 5, cue the copyright-free Jaws remix music. That 56 car is about to show the field why he's the points leader. There's the 97 getting a little hot to trot. Once again, using the nose of that 97 car, giving the 83 car a little bit of a bumpski there. We saw that earlier on here tonight as well. Just kind of letting everybody know that he's here and he means business. We got a little calamity in behind.
Yeah, yellow out again. Richard Drake up on the top side. I think that could just be a situation of let's cool off these tires, but we'll go back and check the U-House Racing Designs replay and see if what exactly transpired.
We saw the 141 back up just a bit here. There you see Danny Vitch getting in. There's the 8 car around. A little bit of bumper car action. Could have been a whole lot worse. You see the 27 car of Taylor Layton getting a little sideways action back in there. But no harm, no foul for a handful of these guys.
Yeah, right in front of Rational Richard Drake there. The 8 car, I believe, was going around, and I think that's why everybody checked up. The spotter called out, check up, and it was just a little too late. Like you said, no harm, no foul. We've seen a lot more sheet metal damage than that in other instances, so we'll restack them. 47 to go. Racing's getting exciting. Racing's getting tight now. Tanton Woolridge up into the picture there. You saw the 97, the 83, and it's just everybody's got different points of braking right now, trying to get their cars to rotate late in the race like this. That right front, probably not at its prime anymore.
Yeah, 100%. You can see Ryan Messer still holding on to the lead here. And not that I was eavesdropping, but you do this weird thing when you get a text message, you kind of read it out loud. And I heard there was a couple of messages going back and forth, something about the Messer camp and maybe not a partnership. Is that anything we can shed some light on the airwaves here tonight, or?
can shed just a little bit, and I can tell you that Wingnut Productions, Conway Customs, and Ryan Messer and the Ryan Motorsports team are working on a little something in this off season. We're putting something together for the festival season or for the festive season, and I can't wait to get them out there and show people what we've got going on.
I just had the epiphany. You said holiday season coming up here. The day before Thanksgiving here in America, everybody orders pizza. We got to figure out that pizza thing.
Oh, that's all in the works. That's all. We have one of those big pots, you know, that the witches used to have, and that fire is just cooking underneath it.
Yeah, it's cooking with propane. Taste the heat, not the meat. There you can see, great restart once again from Messer. VidaneTV's Iron Man up here. I think he's led all the laps so far here tonight. 108 in the books, 43 to go, 42 as they cross the stripe. Ashton Tucker up there in second. Chris Roma now in at third place, but barely. There you see a little contact between he and the boss man. Craig Tully down on the bottom side and holding on to it. Tanton Woldridge in the fight as well, and Riley Duncan trying to break into the top 5.
Yeah, Riley Duncan's been on the bumper of these guys all race long. They're too wide in front of him, so he doesn't really have a hole. He's having to be patient, but he can roll the center really well. That's when he gets into the back of these guys and lets them know that they're there. Same thing with Tanton Woolridge on the bottom side. He's rolling the center very well as we go on board with Tanton Woolridge, and you can see he's entering a little higher, even though he's got a car upside there. The 50s sideways in front of him. What a shot! What a camera angle! What a shot by the crew in the truck, aka Paul. 3 wide as they go into 3 and 4. This racing has just become exciting, and poor Tanton Woolridge right in the middle of it. He's able to get to the top side, make the pass on the 50. Tanton got really lucky there. The 50 was a little sideways, had to burp the throttle, and he did not hesitate. He took the hole and he went with it. But while that was all going on, Duncan and Roma started pulling away a little bit. So Dan Warwood's going to have some work to do with 37 to go to try and reel these guys back in, as those two are trying to reel in the top 2 of Ryan Messer and Ashton Tucker, who have kind of taken off a little bit with all the side-by-side sliding and rubbing going on behind them.
Yeah, there you can see the 97 car getting right up to the back bumper of Roma in that number 83. And I'm going to make mention, there's a lot of drivers that would come into a race like this here, the Ryzer Construction 150 at Lanier here, that would, you know, hey, I got a 10-point lead here in the points. I'm going to take it easy, try and get a top 10. And then there's Tanton Woldridge. He's just broken in from the top 5, won last week, had to start in the back, and has worked his way back up to 5th with a little bit of time left to go. And he's got a couple of spots right up in front of him that are ripe and ready for the taking.
Yeah, we were able to have a quick word with him last week after that win and found out he was going pro stock racing full-time next year in one of the local camps down here in Nova Scotia. So it's really cool to see him out on the racetrack in the virtual world, and also good to hear a young guy that has a lot of passion, a lot of heart, getting a full-time ride in a pro stock or in a late model, and be able to show off the experience and the talent that he has. As you see him trying to work down the bottom, he's inside of the 97. Duncan going to kind of squeeze him down there, and he's going to have to get used to things like that in the real world too, as this racing is always tight quarters, and he's one of the best drivers we have around here for his age, and he's doing a great job. Even here tonight, a little loose off that corner. Duncan going to take advantage of that and roll the top side and get right back door to door as they go down the backstretch.
Yeah, absolutely. The 97 car, one of my favorite driving styles. Very, very aggressive, and letting everybody know that he's got a race car and he knows exactly what to do with it. And he's making that high side work. You can see gaining a couple inches there coming off the corner as Tanton Woldridge able to drive in just a little bit deeper, kind of swapping this position back and forth, crossing the stripe. It's still nose to nose as these guys battle it out for the 4th spot. It's still about 0.8 of a second from Messer on back to Tucker in 2nd.
And as we talk about that, this is a battle for 4th, I believe, and that's that's saying something. These guys are running door to door for 4th place, and generally you see this kind of racing up in your first, second, and third in the podium positions. But these guys, and it just goes to show the talent all the way through the field. There's lots of side-by-side action, and nobody's leaning too much on each other, although there is 25 to go, so the give is almost gone, and the take is going to be there.
And you can see Duncan still up on that high side, lost a little bit of ground. He's going to try and gain it back. Not quite there, but you can see just how close these drivers are. Let's see if we take a look at the onboard there of the 97, and you get a great shot there out the left-hand side of that car, just hard on the steering wheel, wiggling it back and forth all the way down the back straightaway. Just really sawing on that wheel, trying to hold on to it and trying to make a little magic happen. You can see Tanton able to slide on up, but here comes Duncan up in that high side.
Yeah, he keeps sticking his nose up there, just letting Tanton know that he's still there. But the boss man, he says, the door's open. Duncan, you left the door open, so I'm just going to get myself on in here, and he's going to try and work the bottom. You watch Tanton do it. Let's see if he can pull off the exact same move as Tanton was doing there. You can see the 50 car coming off the corner. He's getting it to rotate really early, right behind him, a couple cars sideways. Rational Richard Drake having to make some abrasive maneuvers there to get around the bottom of both of those cars in the 13 and the 89. But great battle between the 97 and the 50, and a great battle behind them with the three cars there trying to swap positions as Rational Richard Drake trying to make his way back up to that top five after he had a little bit of a slideways moment earlier on in this race.
Yeah, and you can see those brake rotors still cherry red on all of these cars all the way around the racetrack. The time is now 18 laps to go here. Ryan Messer, it's 11 a.m. at the hotel. He has checked out. It is 1.2 seconds from him on back to second. There you see Ashton Tucker still on pace in second, and it's about another second and a half back to Chris Roma there in third. Tanton Woldridge moved himself up into the fourth spot. Riley Duncan still holding on to fifth as they run. You can see Craig Tully still on the back bumper there of the 97 car rather, and he's got a rear view mirror full of Conrad Murphy in the 89.
Yeah, 15 to go, and Tully throwing it down in there. He knew he was going to have to slide up. He got right up beside him. They touched evenly. Robbins racing. No harm, no foul. Yellow's going to come out. Did he have him at the line, Paul?
Oh, it was close. It was definitely close, and that right there was a great example of knowing who you're racing against, because Tully kind of sent it on in there knowing full well that the 97 was going to be there, knowing that he was going to be able to kind of lean on him there in the corner. So that was some great driving by both of those drivers. Here's the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. It looks like Laffin got into the back of the 29 car as they kind of, and 29 might have been off the throttle just a little bit earlier than the 8 car, and getting late into this one. As some drivers kind of started saving the tires earlier on, maybe some drivers didn't. They're going to be affecting the racing, or the handling rather, just a little bit. There you can see the 2 car getting a little piece of the action as well. A little fist bump action, no big deal.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Paul, and you nailed it. With the different tires and the different strategies. Some guys are just able to go into the corner a little deeper than others, like you said, with tire wear right now. So it really plays into the mental game of driving, right? When is this guy going to check up? Do you check up early, or do you risk getting into the back of him, like what happened there? Again, I don't think anything was intentional by any means. Both drivers kind of backed out of the throttle as soon as they made contact, so they weren't trying to turn each other. But it's late. It's 12 to go. There's only, a handful of laps that you're really gonna, once the cars get up to speed, once the tires get up to temperature. So you've only got a handful of laps before you can really start making your move. You see the 97, he was down on the apron, kind of scrubbing the tires. He's obviously trying to keep a little bit of heat into them as they start doubling up. And Tanton Woolridge way up on the top side there, doing the same thing, just trying to get some heat into the tires on the restart to make them a little extra sticky. And the lights are still on. Lights are going to go off on the pace car, so we're getting ready to go green again. Another quick caution.
Lining them up 2 by 2. Going to get that restart with 9 laps to go. This is going to be wild. These guys have been putting on a show here all night long. We've gotten used to being in a rhythm all night long throughout throughout this one with the long green flag runs. Now we've got a shootout for the checkered flag. Green flag flies, contact between the leaders. Messer down in the bottom, Tucker up top. Here comes Tanton down on the bottom side.
Yeah, that's exactly what Tanton wanted to see, was a little bit of rubbing racing up at the front there. That allowed him to put his nose below the two of Tucker, but the two of Tucker so strong on the outside. Tanton not able to hold that off, but he's got himself a podium position, our points leader, right up at the front, as we talked about earlier. He's able to arc that car a little bit wider than the two leaders. He's trying something a little different. If you can't get by them running the exact same line, so you got to try something different. But at the same time, he's got to play a little bit of defense, as he's got some very fast cars right behind them. The 97 has shown speed all night long. Same thing with the 83, and right back into the mix, the 141, the Laker News of Rational Richard.
You can see he's trying to make the outside work late in this one. He's going to gain a little bit of ground on the 83 car of Roma. Single file for the front four as they get the high five from Barney up in the flag stand. 5 laps to go here at Lanier. Ryan Messer holding on to the lead, pulling away from Ashton Tucker in second.
I'm just watching Rational Richard there. He was gaining a little bit on that outside, and I think it fired off really well, but the 83 started coming around 3 laps in there, and that's what I was talking about earlier. You only have a few sets of laps as these tires get hot again, and cars start settling in, and that's exactly what it was, as he's able to roll the top side again and kind of make a little bit more, but I don't know if he's going to have enough with only 2 to go as they come to the line.
Single file for the front four, 0.4 of a second the gap between first and second. The battle right now between these 3 cars. Duncan holding on to the spot. Roma down on the bottom side. Richard Drake trying to take it all the way up on the high side. Popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go for Ryan Messer.
He's going to come out of 2. He's got at least a 2 or 3 car lead. Same thing with Ashton Tucker. He doesn't have much pressure from behind. Coming out of 3 and 4, Ryan Messer is going to take the checkered flag here at Lanier for this 3rd race of the RBR Season 8, sponsored by Ryzer Fabrications. That was a heck of a race, as they always do. They put on a show.
100%. Great night for the points. Fireworks in the background. Let's go. How about that? Good on you, iRacing. Oh, we only got like 3. Oh, they're still going. There we go.
They're still going. Yeah, there we go.
Excellent. I thought we cut those out of the budget. That's pretty neat. We gotta go put a cam rigger.
No, we cut your pay so that we could put on the fireworks.
That's what it was. Hey, that's a pretty good shot. We can work with that. We got some good cam ops out here at Lanier. Take a look at the results here before we talk to the top 3. There you see it. Ryan Messer coming home with a victory. Great points night here tonight. Ashton Tucker in second, but the points leader finishing on the podium as well. So doing what he needs to try and hold on to that points lead. Riley Duncan going to finish in 4th. Richard Drake, great recovery for him. He's going to finish in the top 5. Chris Roman, the 83 car, going to finish in 6th. Bossman slides on back to 7th. Conrad Murphy, Dave Cassidy, and Keith McClellan. I don't think we mentioned his name all night. He sneaks into the top 10.
Yeah, it's one that there's so many names that we mention all night long that it's hard to keep track of all the ones that we do mention. A great run by J.J. McRae, Scott Negus, Taylor Layton, Todd Cousins, all of them. A great run by all of these guys, and it's a fun, fast track, and it's cool to see them up front. But Paul, you caught up with Tanton Woolridge, and he had to come from quite far back to get himself on the podium today.
Yeah, 100%. Started in the back of the pack by virtue of winning last week. Came in as the points leader with a 10-point cushion, and 3rd place. Pretty solid run, kind of showing everybody what you've got and that you're a championship contender. What did it feel like out on track today?
Yeah, that was the hardest race so far this season. That there's just a lot of good drivers in here. I mean, you look at the practice times. I think like the top 8 was within 2 100ths of a second. So when it's that tight of a field to try and go, I think from 23rd to the front is very, very hard to do. So yeah, I just tried to bide my time and save tire where I could, but at the same time, you gotta charge forward. So definitely had to use up more tire than I wanted to through kind of the middle half of that race. We were still kind of making up ground there, but once the top side really came in, it got hard to to try and move forward. So, you know, the harder it got to move forwards, the more tire used up. So, you know, Ryan and Ashton were on point tonight. They had this place figured out. So, congrats to them. And you know, I look at it on these nights is when you got to start at the back. It's all damage control. And as much as you know, I'm racing for a win every single night. Points are always in the back of the mind, and it's nice like this where you just try and get every point that you can and pass guys cleanly because you know that'll pay off in the end and they'll give it back. So yeah, strong night, and we'll move on to Oswego next week.
Putting in a solid bid for that Season Ocho Championship trophy here tonight. Third place for Tanton Woldridge. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm going to send it on up a little bit further up. You're at Victory Lane, I believe, with Mr. Wingnut down there with Ryan Messer.
I am, yes, Ryan Messer out of the car. A solid race. I think he led every lap and pretty much had it on cruise control towards the end there. What was the key to the victory tonight?
Well, one of the keys would have been starting on the pole. That made it a little bit easier. Just not really having to go side by side much and pinch the car off, just run whatever line. That kind of helped save the tires good. So tried to go just at the right pace to stay ahead of, I think it was Tully followed me for quite a while, to go just quick enough to where he wouldn't try to force the pass and have something left for the last 50 or so. And then Ashton kept me honest all the way to the end and almost lost it on the last restart. That got a little dicey, but we were able to hold on to it and get another win. So hopefully close back in a little bit for points on the top. But we can't seem to keep Tan back there. He always keeps coming right back up, so it'll be close the whole way.
I assume that next week that means that you're starting at the back of the pack. You just heard Tanton Woolridge talk about conserving those tires and damage control. Looking on to next week, I know you're going to celebrate this one first, but next week is going to be a tough one. What's the game plan?
It is going to be a tough one. Kind of the same thing. That's a really demanding track, hard on tires. But I do like Oswego a little bit that I've run there. And it's a little better track to come from the back than Slinger was. So I feel like I'll have a little bit better luck. But anything can happen, so we'll see.
Absolutely. And I know there's a lot of sponsors that get you to the racetrack. I was able to get a list of them from you earlier on this week for the little project that we're working on. Who helps you get to the virtual track and to the real world track?
Yeah, I just showed to all my real world sponsors. A lot of them tune into these, and my family, they like to watch these things in the off season. So shout out to them. I'm sure they're watching. Just the RBR guys for putting these races on. They've been a lot of fun, and you guys at Vidane for broadcasting.
Awesome. Congratulations again, and hopefully we'll see you on the podium next week to be able to close in that gap a little bit more.
That sounds good to me.
And Paul, you have caught up with the guy that was chasing Ryan Messer all night long, Ashton Tucker.
Indeed, I have a great run for that number 2 car. Ashton, what did you need to try and catch Ryan Messer here tonight?
I don't know. Ryan just had a bit better car all night, but I'm pretty happy with second. Don't get to run these races much too often, so I'm happy with second place.
And not quite in the points battle, it looks like, but showing that the car very, very quick here throughout the run here. And we saw some tire wear issues towards the back of the pack. Did you have any kind of handling issues throughout the race in this one?
Not a whole lot, to be honest. The car felt pretty good there at the end. Just didn't have enough for Ryan. He did a good job saving his tires, but no, I don't know. It was a good setup and was happy with the second place.
Put on a heck of a show here for us and everybody at home here. Got to give you an opportunity to thank anybody that makes it happen here. Who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack?
I'll just give a shout out my real life sponsors. They helped a lot all summer. I'd like to thank RBR for this great series, a good group of drivers in here, and thank you guys for the live stream. It's pretty cool to be able to watch them if you want.
Absolutely, and lots of racing coming up here tonight. And before we get there, we got to close out the show here tonight. But second place for Ashton Tucker. Ashton, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. And I just want to say congrats to Ryan there. He had a good race.
1000%. And Ashton, that was wild. 150 easy enough for me to say. Holy moly. 150 laps up, 150 laps down. On to the next one for sure.
Yeah, a great run from all the drivers for the Ryzer Fabrication 150 here at Lanier. Always a great show with this RBR crew. Always a great show with all the series that we broadcast live here on VidaneTV. And just another one in the books. I think you got, what, 5 more, 6 more this week, it seems?
It seems like it. Make sure you grab that QR code while it's up there on your screen. That'll get you the Wingnut Productions timing and scoring. You can follow along with all of the action here at VidaneTV with real-time scoring as these drivers run around the virtual race track. And that works for all of our leagues. Tomorrow night, the Turn 4 Podcast Winter iRacing League coming on back to us. A little street stock action, some short track beating and banging on each other. And then Thursday night, the NAP Super Truck Series running the big tracks. It's always fun to watch short track drivers run on the big tracks, whether it's sim racing, real racing, or vice versa. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for tuning in all over the interwebs here tonight. Give us the likes, give us the subscribes, the shares, all the love. Let your friends and family know you watched a little bit of iRacing action here on a Tuesday night. But from everybody here at VidaneTV, we will catch you on the flip side. And when we do,
we'll be doing it live.
That's right. That should be the new T-shirt, like the sweatshirt, like the one you made for Tim.
But we'll be doing it live?
Yeah, but like the two different quotes between. Oh wait, hang on. Mike's clear.